What's up guys, Charles from Team COG coming at you guys here with a new year, new Crusadia deck profile. So I apologize for this new weird angle. I actually left my camera stand at locals and it's pretty late at night guys, so I'm not going to go back and get it. But I've pretty much been testing this build, took it to locals for the first time after getting the cards and tested it. It did really well and I've been testing it online quite a bit and I'm very well pleased with it. I'm still enjoy the deck, so it's kind of a new year. The deck is gonna change again because Guard Dragons are coming out, but I thought for now it'd be a pretty good variant to show you guys. I'm very pleased with it. I think it is actually the best variant to play before the Guard Dragons. And yeah, without further ado guys, let's just jump into it. I won't try to keep you guys up too late. So actually, you know what, we're gonna show off this pretty side that never really gets to be showed off. So of course guys, this is a Crusadia deck. You gotta play 3 Maximus. So Maximus is my favorite. I'm not going to go into super detail about him because if you guys are watching this video, you guys are probably veterans of the channel, part of the Crusade, part of the squad, so you guys know what these guys do. But if you don't know, please check out a previous video and get their effects. But Crusadia Maximus, he's my favorite. He's the best one we have. In my opinion, he's what allows you to do double damage. So moving on, 3 Arborea. Arborea is your protection in the graveyard. She is really good, and it's because she's also a level 3 tuner. It allows you to go into 7 and 6 synchros, which we don't ever go into any level 6 synchros. We only go into 1 level 7 synchro. But continuing on, we got the good boy. So the good boy Draco, he's really good. He's your recursion from the graveyard. He also allows you to construct your chain links with links so that you kind of, it's not the correct term, but it's the term that's used most commonly, is chain block. So, but he's really good. You have to maximize at 3 of him, and then you gotta play 3 Leonis. Leonis is the one that allows you to do piercing, and then still doing the 2 Recluse. So guys, I think this lineup right here is kind of like the standard lineup. I know people can opt to play 3 Recluse, but I still think 2 is the appropriate number, just because you don't want to see 2 of the same Crusadia, if that makes any sense. But I love and hate with this card because I kind of wish I did play it at 3, but I'm kind of happy I didn't. If you guys will check out the duel video that I'll have coming up after this profile, you'll see what kind of happened to me. The #1 problem that this deck faces is if you don't open 2 Crusadias, you don't have any sort of combos, and that kind of happened to me. I didn't open 2 Crusadias. So that happens, you know, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! But that's it for the Crusadia lineup, guys. Moving on, we just play 1 World Legacy World Crown and 1 World Legacy World Lance. So World Legacy World Lance is pretty much your searchable honest that you have to protect your equal max. So when you're kind of in protect the castle sort of gameplay, you can protect it. There's also a sort of hand where if you open it's kind of a 4-card hand, but it's kind of like a really bricky hand. If you open 2 Crusadias, a Kaiju, and you open this, you have the OTK with just Regulex. So I'll try to get that video up and show you guys that combo soon, but other than that, World Crown, he's really good. He's a form of negation and an extender. However, he is a horrible starter. You cannot start with this card. In the duel video, you guys will check that you guys see come up after this. You guys will notice that, yeah, I drew into him, and he is not a starter. I had to do some pretty questionable plays, but what can you do when desperate times come? Desperate times call for desperate measures. But that's it for the World Legacy cards, guys. The monsters, at least. So I still think this number is appropriate. I still think one of the best accesses we have in this deck is Crawler. Crawler gets us to search out this, and I just think this is a phenomenal card. And it also allows you to search out Crown if you do need to. Moving on, I still personally play the 4 Kaijus, Kamungus, Dogoran, and I choose to play 2 Gameciels. So Gameciel is really good. You guys, spoiler alert, I have decided to play Kyoto Waterfronts and do the Kyoto Waterfront build. So Gameciel is really essential for that because Gameciel allows you to have almost unlimited negations going first, which is really good. And then after that, it's just I felt having more than 4 would allow you to brick because there was many times, even with just the 4 in Kyoto, that I was opening really questionable hands. However, it was just kind of it's one of those weird situations where it's like, yes, it was a brick, but it got the job done. But I really don't think you need to play any more Kaijus if you're maxing out on the Kyoto Waterfronts and maxing out on Terraformings, because in that case, you are playing 9 total Kaijus in a sense, if my math is correct. But I really remarkable. I actually enjoy this count. If you guys are a fan of this channel and you guys have been with a long time, I've kept these 4 Kaijus for a long time. So moving on, we'll go into the last monster in the deck, which is 3 Ash Blossoms. Ash Blossom is universal. It hits everything. It also just got confirmed for a reprint in the Salamangreat structure deck, so for all you budget players, you guys got it. You guys held out long enough. Go get you guys some Ashes. But I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. I think I'm going to switch out Ashes. I think Ash is really good for what it does, and it's universal, but in this deck, I really want my hand traps to matter. And what I mean by that is if I drop Ash and it gets called by the grave, essentially my Ash did nothing. So I think I'm going to lean more towards infinite impermanences and kind of cut the Ashes and maybe experiment with other extenders and other things like that, etc. Because I feel like I want my hand trap to count, and infinite impermanence is really hard to counter. So unless you're main decking like Forbidden Chalice or like other ways, or like other archetype themed cards that kind of protect you, you're not really stopping it. But still 3 Ash, it performed phenomenal today, but I do think I'm going to lean towards just pretty much playing infinite impermanence so that my card does not get hand trapped or negated. And I don't know. It's just been testing. It's just a theory I've come up with, so only time will tell. So that's it for the monsters. We're going to move on to the spells. We're going to play 1 Revival and 1 Power for the Crusadia spells. So Crusadia Revivals, just, you only need to play it at 1. It's searchable. It allows you to kind of get an extra 500 boost and attack all monsters your opponent controls, which is really good for the OTK. Crusadia Power here. Crusadia Power is this deck's pretty much activate, and your opponent can't do anything to that said monster. But the problem with it is this is a hard once per turn, and when we get the new support such as Testament and Mech Knight Crusadia Astrum, I think this card might get bumped back up to 2, maybe, I don't know. Or it might be still at 1, I'm not sure. I think people who are playing 3 of this now are kind of going overboard. It's a hard once per turn, you open multiples of it, you brick, it's searchable. However, I do understand the want to open it, which is why I think that playing 2 would be a good option. But that's it for the Crusadia spells. Moving on. So, if you guys have been watching this channel for a long time, you know that I have always been a pro Rescue Cat kind of guy. However, after testing and testing and testing, and I sit down, guys, and I test for hours and hours. And so I playtest hands, I playtest online on YGO Pro, on Dawn of a New Era. And I think I finally found the perfect, purest build that possible. And by that, we got to use Waterfront. So Waterfront is phenomenal for the simple fact that it allows you to get access to your Kaijus if you don't open one. But more importantly, what Rescue Cat did for this deck was give it a good going first, and it was an extender for going second. However, it was a really high-risk, high-reward card, wherever Kyoto Waterfront is not really, it's a high reward but low risk. So it's like if you still open 2 Crusadias plus Waterfront, you still get to go through your Crusadias combos and will still have a Waterfront. And if they ash the Waterfront, you still have your Crusadia combos. And if they ash your Crusadia combos, you still have a Waterfront. But the main point of the Waterfront, in my opinion, that I use it to is to make the Gamma Seal Saryuja going first, which I think is phenomenally better than the Nat Beast with Equal Max. So in that case, you end on a Gamma Seal, a Sea Turtle with almost if you manipulate the board correctly and allow certain cards to pass through, you can end on pretty much unlimited negates. Whereas Nat Beast and Crusadia Equal Max ends you on 1, and if they don't have an out, because there's so many outs for Nat Beast now, that they normally will just out the Nat Beast. So, and it's such a low attack, it's just one of those strange. I prefer this over the Rescue Cat, because Rescue Cat just takes your normal summon, and I know I've preached Rescue Cat for a long time, and I've just been testing and testing and testing. I think for once in this entire channel's history, I can firmly say that Rescue Cat has found its way out of the deck, and we'll be experimenting with new cards and new ways to make Nat Beast, to make the World Chalice Miko when she comes out in Dark Neostorm. But Waterfront is phenomenal. I think you gotta play Waterfront. It's just really good. I think it's the best pure version we can get to now that allows us to have a really great going first, which is what this deck lacks. And then, of course, 2 Terraforming. So, of course, you play 4 Kaiju. I personally, not everybody has to, I play 4 Kaijus plus 5 ways to get to the said Kaijus, which is a total of 9 Kaijus. Really good. 3 Call by the Grave, still mandatory. I think even when the new card Crusadia Testament comes out, you still will play 3 Testament, you play 3 Call by, 2 Testament, and 1 Power. You can fluctuate those numbers however you want. You play 2, 2, 2, but this card is such a good card. It's a really offensive and defensive card. It protects your plays while allowing you to be offensive toward your opponent, and it's just really good. I'm glad it's back at 3. It's right where it belongs. Double Twin Twister. Twin Twister was really good, so I actually got second place in at the locals, guys. Probably should have opened up with that, but if you stuck this long through, you guys know I got second place at locals. I ended up 2-0ing a Trickstar player. I ended up 2-0ing I 2-0'd a Altergeist. I 2-0'd a Cubic player, and I lost in the final, in the top 4, to a World Chalice player who's really good. It was a great match. That video will come shortly after this one, so just stay tuned for that. 2 Instant Fusions. Instant Fusion's good. It's an extender. It allows you to summon out the Thousand Eyes or Millennium Eyes. And after we get Savage Strike, it'll allow you to summon out Theseus to synchro into Savage Dragon. So that's it for the 2 ofs. Moving on, we are playing 1 Succession and 1 Monster Reborn. So Succession is searchable via Crawler. Monster Reborn is Monster Reborn. I opted to play at this certain ratio because of Succession's hard once per turn, whereas if you open both of these, you have the ability to extend really far, whereas if you just open 1 or 2 Successions, you will essentially, you won't be able to use the second Succession because it's a hard once per turn. So I've enjoyed this ratio. I've actually thought about kind of cutting Succession back up to 2 and playing 2 Succession and 1 Reborn, but only time will tell. I just got to test more, but so far I'm pretty happy with the ratios. We're going to go on to the trap cards, which was pretty small. 1 Crawler. Crawler just pretty much summons itself to his own If it summons itself to his own, a Link monster points to, you get the ability to search a World Legacy card, which allows you to pretty much search out your Succession, your Lance, and your Crown. And it's really good for going first because it allows you to search Succession and have a recursion play for your second turn, but the third turn in the game. And eventually that is pretty much the kill shot turn. It's really good. I actually opt not to play Crusadia Vanguard. I really, guys, and 100% honest with you, I've never searched that card since Crawler came out. I've always searched for Vanguard. I actually played it today in multiple test hands and in multiple games and side games, and I did not miss Vanguard at all. But, moving on, guys, we're going into 2 Infinite Impermanences. Infinite Impermanence is really good. It's a proactive, and it's a proactive and reactive card. It's defensive and offensive. It's really good for going first because you can set it. And when you set it, you can flip it over. It's just a good going first card. It's a card you can set and actually, how do I put it? It's too late at night, guys. It's a card you can set, and it's just a negation for the following turn, an interruption, because you normally end on an equal max or an equal max with the Dawn Dragster, so you'll end on like 3 disruptions instead of just 2. And it's good for going first because it allows you to essentially stop an opponent's effect, and it does not have the ability to be called by the grave, which I think is remarkable. So moving on, guys, to kind of wrap up the video and kind of get it done and squared away, we're just going to move on to the extra deck. We're still playing the same standard 3 Magius, 2 Regulex, 1 Spatha, and 2 Equal Max. It's still really good, guys. I think this is the perfect ratio. Never, ever, ever cut this guy down to 1. Regulex is too good. And yeah, that's about it. I see some builds opting not to play 3 Magius, but I think 3 is correct because you just go through them so quickly, especially in a grind game. I know that everyone knows that this deck is not meant to grind, but sometimes you're just forced to grind, guys. Like, they will have the answers to your cards, and you won't have the answers or responses back. So that's it for the Crusadia Link monsters. And then, of course, we just play 1 Phoenix, 1 Unicorn. I have never gone into Unicorn, I think, once in this entire deck's life. However, I've abused Phoenix, so it's just utility. Rather have it and not need it versus need it, not have it. So moving on, 1 Trisbania. Trisbania is just there for back row hate. It allows you just to pretty much punish Sky Strikers along with the Crawler. You're just allowed to trigger it at the end of their turn, which is really good if you're forced to go first. 1 Skull Dread. You need Skull Dread. It's part of the whole entire Gamma Seal Saryuja combo, but it's really good. I haven't yet to get off the draw 4, but that's not what Saryuja's in here for. It's in here for the special summon from the hand, so it's really good. You have to play it if you're playing the Kyoto Waterfront variant if you want to maximize on Gamma Seal's potential. Moving on, 1,000 Eyes, 1 Millennium Eyes. I used 1,000 Eyes for the first time. I think you'll see on the video coming up after this again. And the Millennium Eyes is just here for hand trap negation. So, and finally, guys, the only synchro we play now since we're not playing Rescue Cat is FA Dawn Dragster. So guys, I apologize for this quick video. I normally give some more explanations, but I should have some videos coming up, like a few of them to talk about different engines in the deck, a few of them to talk about the different engines, and test hands. So this is Charles from Team COG signing out.